Welcome to Swing This Kettlebell in Strength, everyone. Today I'm going to go over a little bit of overhead positioning on how to get better. So basically, if we have a lot of tension in the tricep, lats, and pecs, we are not going to have a very good overhead position for our kettlebell lockout. We're going to be wasting a lot of energy to try to hold it out there. And the thing is, a lot of people don't realize is as the shoulder blades go out, as you raise your arm above your head, say in the jerk, what happens is that shoulder blade doesn't come out. If it doesn't have the ability to, we're going to be really, really tight back in that tricep trying to pull out, and you're going to start to shift. So while you may be able to do that single arm, you're probably not going to be able to do it in a double jerk. So, because they're both are going to be fighting each other, you're going to lose stability in the torso. So, one of my favorite things to start off with is a couple different things. Now, John, could you toss me that pad for the bar, please, right behind you, please, sir? What we like to do here at Swing is use a bar about this height or a little bit higher, and we're going to go above for the upper tricep. We like to use one of these kind of pointless squat pads. Put this across the bar, and what we can do is we can get first right down here, basically the insertion of the tricep, and loosen some of that up. Trust me, you're going to want to start soft. It's not a good place to start, especially if you haven't done much of this. Back and forth, try to kind of floss that tissue through here. Go different angles and you'll feel some spots. Then what we can do is work up real high into that upper tricep connection, a little bit of that rear delt, even a little bit of like teres. We're trying to get into that overhead position. We're trying to loosen that up. So after I've done that, then I take a band, I hook my arm through it, and hook my foot through it, it stops moving. And work on getting that stretched out a bit. So now once I have the tricep loosen up a little bit, I'm going to start working on lats and pecs. What I like to do for the lat is either use a foam roller, or this is a great ball from Mobility Wad, Supernova. Basically, down here, the arm up in a position where you're having issue with. Ooh, very tight on the lat. Teres major. Get some of that tissue across the back of the scapula to loosen up, so your external infraspinatus, external rotator, loosen that guy up a little bit. And it's just I can feel it just allowing that position to be made a little easier. All of a sudden, I'm there just by following that tissue. Now what I'm going to do is go a little bit lower. I'm going to start working around the tricep, around the shoulder blade. So find it. Start on the inside. And what I like doing is find different spots. Usually a lot of the rhomboids and middle trapezius will be pretty tight. And you can just let that arm flow. You can apply extra pressure if you understand how to do this and not kill yourself, not harm the tissue. Then you work on internal rotation. Go back out. And it kind of makes me go into a better overhead position. I'm going to drop my hips down, and I'm in a really good position. I've worked on those tissues that have been impeding me from getting that shoulder blade to move. Now I can work down here a little bit more on the actual lat and serratus by going in and over that lat. If you got more tissue, you're gonna definitely feel that. Careful, you can start with tennis balls, lacrosse balls, foam rollers, things like that. But you're trying to loosen that tissue and allow you to get that elbow overhead in a better position. So once we've done that, we're gonna attack the pec minor. So if you're tight in the pec minor, you're not gonna be able to get your shoulder blade to stay safe down towards the rib cage. It's gonna wing out if you're tight in the pec minor. So what I like to do is take, let's take this guy, we'll go from the inside. I like to find a doorway or something that we can put this ball. Some people are so tight they can just take a ball and roll with their hand. What I like to do is lean into it and take my arm into a range of motion similar to the one that I'm looking for. Loosen some of that tissue up, especially in the insertion point into the shoulder, the front delt and all that. Loosen that guy up. And it can be severely tender. Then, after that, what I really like to do is to turn off that tissue on his band. Here we go. Is to take the ball once again. We're going to attach the band to a faraway object. So all I'm doing is now is I'm turning off my arm. It's just hanging there. I'm going to put this ball and I'm going to trace that shoulder blade again. Now that the arm's loose and I'm not holding it up in different areas with the muscles turned on, these tissues are actually turned off right now as much as I can get them by letting this band do the work. So as I do that, then I can look around for the tender spots, loosen that up on the trapezius and rhomboids again. To me, it's incredibly, it gets in there a little bit deeper. It's an incredible difference. Even, it's a little bit of more release. It's very good for the level of where I'm at with this. You can roll into the rear delt, a little bit of that tricep again. Once again, we turn this whole arm off. It's very loose. Everything's off, and I'm rolling across that ball in different ways. Now what you could do is find, such as a pull-up bar up there, you could attach somehow the band from above and get into the overhead position where you have the arm turned off and you're attacking some of that tight tissue. Then, loosen up. Arm is incredibly different. This is very tight for me. Incredibly different. Now, imagine, you're going to get away with that when you're doing single arm jerks, single arm snatches. But when you start doing the double, if there's this much of a difference compared to your arm that's locked out over your head and your skeleton is stacked and you feel stable, you're balanced perfectly versus being out here and trying to hold yourself up. Remember, tight muscles are just like driving your car with the brakes on. Okay, so you're going to take that emergency brake off. Kettlebell sport is most about tension when you need it, non-tension when you don't. So if you're riding with the brakes on all the time, every time you do a clean, you're still tight, and you're trying to hold that jerk up there, and you're real tight, you still have the brakes on all those tissues, you drop it down, you're expending more energy than you need to, it's taking you more energy than it needs to execute the exercise. So anyway, try some of those things and see how you feel, especially with increased range of motion in the overhead position for the jerks and the snatch. Swing this kettlebell, lift safe, and lift strong.